Today, we're going to try and unlock one of the most powerful and honestly mind-bending visions ever recorded. We're taking a journey right into the throne room of heaven itself, all based on Revelation chapter 4. So let's see what's behind that door. I mean, seriously, what if you saw a door just standing open in heaven, and then a voice calls out, inviting you in? Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, this is the exact opportunity that was given to the Apostle John, and it frames this entire incredible vision we're about to dive into. Okay, so this is where it all kicks off. A voice, one that John says is as clear and powerful as a trumpet, gives him this unbelievable invitation. He's being called up to see the future, not from some crystal ball, but from the command center of the entire universe. So John is taken up in the spirit, which is just the state of getting a directed download from God, and his attention is immediately grabbed. Before he sees anything else, his entire vision is filled by one single thing, a throne, sitting at the absolute center of reality. And this is a really big deal right off the bat. Before we get into any of the weird creatures or future stuff, the first message is crystal clear. There is a throne. The universe isn't some random chaotic accident. Nope, there's a control room. And that throne is not empty. But here's what's so wild. John doesn't describe who's on the throne, not in a way we'd expect. He doesn't see a face or a body. What he sees is just this blazing, brilliant light, like the glint off of precious stones. He's not describing a person. He's describing the raw glory just pouring off of them. And he gets specific. He singles out two kinds of light. One is like jasper. Think of a perfectly clear, dazzling diamond. It's all about God's absolute purity and holiness. But then there's also this fiery red glow, like a sardius stone, which points to God's judgment, but also, and this is key, his sacrificial love. It's this incredible mix, right? Perfect holiness and fierce love, all coming from the same place. And just when you think it can't get any more mind-blowing, John sees something else. Wrapped all the way around this scene of blazing power is a rainbow. But it's not a normal rainbow. It's shining with this single brilliant color of an emerald. This shows us something so profound. So think about it. A throne means absolute unchecked power, right? But a rainbow in the Bible is always a symbol of a promise God made. So what does it mean when you put a promise around the throne of power? It means God's infinite power is always directed by his faithfulness. His rule isn't chaotic, it's covenant-bound. All right, so the throne itself is incredible, but it's not alone. It's surrounded by what you could call a heavenly court, a whole gathering of other beings who are part of this scene. So first up, John sees 24 other thrones, kind of circling the main one. And on these thrones, 24 elders. And they're clearly important figures, people with some serious honor and authority. And right away, you're probably asking the same thing everyone does. Who are these guys? Are they angels? Something else entirely? Well, the text actually gives us a bunch of clues. And when you put them all together, the evidence points pretty strongly to them being representatives of redeemed humanity. Let's just look at the evidence, okay? First, they're sitting on thrones, which fulfills a promise that believers will one day rule with Christ. They're wearing white robes, a classic symbol of righteousness. And this is a big one. They have golden crowns. But not just any crowns. These are the Stephanos, the victor's wreath, the one you get for winning a race. Believers are promised that crown. Angels, not so much. And later on, they sing a song about being redeemed, which pretty much seals the deal. Okay, so after the elders, John sees, well, there's no other way to put it, 4 wild-looking creatures. They're right there at the center of the action, described as being in the midst of the throne and around the throne. Oh, and they're covered in eyes, front and back. These are usually thought to be the cherubim, a really high order of angels whose job is to guard God's throne. Yeah, I know. A lion, an ox, a man, and an eagle. It sounds strange, to say the least. But as you can probably guess, this isn't just random. The symbolism going on here is incredibly rich, and there are a few really cool ways to understand it. So some folks connect these 4 faces to the banners of the lead tribes of Israel when they camped out in the desert. Others, and this is a really famous one, see them as symbols for the 4 Gospels. Matthew presenting Jesus as the king, the lion, Mark as the servant, the ox, Luke as the perfect man, and John presenting Jesus as divine, coming from heaven like an eagle. But maybe the idea that pulls it all together is the last one. that they represent the very best of all created life, the mightiest wild animal, the strongest work animal, the king of the birds, and humanity, the pinnacle of it all. So we've got the sights down, this incredible, overwhelming scene. But what does it sound like in the throne room? Because these creatures, especially the four living creatures, they aren't just standing there. They are constantly, and I mean constantly, worshiping. This is their song. Over and over, day and night, they cry out, "Holy, holy, holy." Now, in Hebrew thought, if you want to say something is really important, you repeat it twice. But repeating something 3 times, that's almost unheard of. It means the absolute, most ultimate, off-the-charts version of that thing. It's a declaration that God's holiness is in a category all by itself. And this song, this incredible declaration, it doesn't just hang in the air. It starts a chain reaction. It's like a wave of worship that starts at the center with these creatures and just flows outward, sweeping up everyone in the heavenly court. So here's how it plays out. The living creatures start, giving glory and honor and thanks to God. And that's the cue for the 24 elders. They immediately fall down in worship. And then they do something amazing. They take off their own crowns, their victory crowns, and they throw them down in front of the throne. It's like they're saying, any victory we ever had, any achievement, it all belongs to you. And as they do this, as they cast their crowns, they start to sing their own song. And it starts with this simple, powerful statement, "You are worthy." I mean, that's what worship is, right? Saying what something is worth. And their song tells us exactly why God is worthy of everything. And this right here brings us to the biggest, most profound takeaway of this whole vision. The Song of the Elders basically answers the ultimate question. Why does any of this even exist? Why are we here? And here's the answer. The reason he's worthy is because he created everything. Simple as that. His act of creation gives him the ultimate right to it all. The song says that all things exist for one reason, because of his will, or as some translations put it, for his pleasure. So the punchline of this whole incredible vision is this. Everything, from the highest angel to the smallest particle, all of creation finds its ultimate purpose, its true north, in giving glory back to the one who made it. Everything was made for him, and everything finds its meaning in telling him he's worthy. And that kind of leaves us with a question to chew on, doesn't it? We live in a world that is constantly yelling at us to live for our own glory, to build our own little kingdom. But what if this vision John saw? What if it's the actual truth of reality? What if the whole point of you, of me, of everything that exists, is simply to give glory?